Hi everybody, nice to meet you today, and I will introduce you about the ZSX. ZSX is a very special in React. It is not string, not HTML, and now we start with the previous project. We create a new user object. The user object has some property inside. For example, here I add the name. The name is a string. I add my name here, Huang, and the second property is email. Email is also a string, and I add sunlight4d@gmail.com. So the user object we define it is a constant, so it cannot be changed if you want to change, you can change it to let or var, and the element is also a constant. So inside the user you can add more property, for example full name or example age, etc., for so on and so forth. And the element we define a heading 1 s1. Inside the heading 1 we have a string hello world, and inside this string I add more variable to here. So I add the property name of user and email here, and you can see that the user dot name or user dot email is inside a curly brace. A curly brace can save the variable outside, and the element is added to render. And you can see that inside this it is not a string or not HTML, so it calls JSX or JavaScript extension. So the element is added to a parameter of render function of React document object model, so it will render to the output in HTML format. And the render is very fast, and it only render which is changed. And the root is an ID of an element. So npm start to start the project. I can see in the output here we have a heading 1 with a string. My name is Huang, and email here. Name and email get from the object before. So now I want to change the element, the constant element, to another more complicated. I comment this and define the element. I delete the old element and add more. The open and close here to start and begin an element. Inside the element we will add a div. Div is a division in HTML5. In common HTML, we use it here to define an element. So all elements should have a div inside. The div inside will wrap around all element inside the element. So the heading 1 I have a hello world, and after the heading 1 we have a heading 2 with my name here, and very easy to see that heading 1 is the child of div. You can add more div inside a div, and a heading 1 inside the child div, so so on and so forth. So it equals a tree of element. You can add a tree of element in one element. So it is very easy to control when you want to separately manage all the element inside. And I start the project to see output, and after refreshing you can see that we have an error. What is error? The error here is some syntax error in the div. So come back to it. I save the new div here. The div is wrong, and I refresh this again. So I can run now to refresh and wait a few seconds. I can see that is so here my name is Hoàng, and here so it means that inside a div we can add more element. And here the class name, it is not class, it's called class name in React. In React we call its class name. And inside the index.css I can style the class here by dot hello, curly brace open and close curly brace, and we add a padding, for example top down left right 10 pixel, and color is the color of the text, and the background color we change to green, for example, or red, etc. So I refresh the code to see that each element we have a div, and inside a div we can add more class name to customize the user interface inside. We can customize the interface inside the div as in HTML5. Okay, you can see that we have I have just customized the output as the white text and the red background. So we want to add more number. Number here is an array of integer 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to customize the inside of the array, and I define a double number is also an array, another array, and map. Map means it is cloned. It will be clone the number to another array, and inside the clone or inside the map function we add a function here to convert all of the element inside. For example, we call each sub element is each number. The each number star multiply by 2 and add a string to comma. We have a new string. So the double number is an array of string. It means 1 and then 2 semicolon, and it add a string more here. We add a heading here and see the output, and it refresh the code and run again to see the result. Oh, here we have the result as the double function and the double value here. You can change the function here for more easier to understand. It is very simple to see. It is concisely. So I remove the return. I remove some of the unnecessary things in the function, because the function does not any name, and we call it the error function. Error function means the function has no name and has concise from as parameter and an arrow to see the implementation of the function. So here I added to another string to the existing number and refresh. Okay, I see that the output here is a number with an adding more string